let you intro, and then I'll get into the switcheroo.
Okay. All right. Hey guys, it's Sarah Shaw. I'm here with Emily and Jessica. We're going to talk all about interns today, and I'm so excited. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Okay, hello everyone. I am Emily Wells, and I am a brand designer for small businesses. And this is my studio mate, Jessica.
I'm Jessica. I own Empress Stationery. We're a wedding stationer here in Birmingham, and Emily is my studio mate for about 2 years. These past 2 years.
Yes.
So,
yeah. We've shared a studio now for about 2 years. And we have had interns the entire time, every semester, including summers and Jan terms. Yep. And we're so excited to share our process with you guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I know when I did an internship way back in the day, I had someone come in my business. It totally helped me streamline everything. It was kind of a shocking revelation how much having someone in my space that I needed to manage and have them do stuff for me really helped me streamline and systematize everything. And one of the best lessons I've ever had in how to run my business like a business instead of working in it. And so I wanted you guys to talk about, did you guys have that same experience? And then if so, what specific ways did it help streamline your businesses?
Yeah, we definitely had the same experience. And that's one of the things with internships that you do have to realize is that when you're taking on an intern, you're also taking on the role of teaching someone else, your systems, processes, all of that kind of thing. So it kind of, in a way, forces you to do that, to start creating the systems and processes. And it has been such an unexpected and yet amazing benefit. And within the course, we talk through a lot of different ways that you can do that. There are several ways that you can kind of record your process, really get streamlined and organized. So a lot of that's in the course, but what about you?
Yeah, I mean, for my business, I think when we originally thought about getting an intern at the time, I had so many hands-on projects going on. And those are things that were easy to delegate. I think for me, learning to teach design and teach layout and type and the things that I needed, that's where I definitely had to learn how to delegate. But once I did, it really, again, helps you familiarize yourself with all of your systems, and your systems to a point after that, and then having to pass them off to someone else. It's more than just handing work off. You're teaching yourself how your business works and knowing it, front and back, know everything about it. So it's extremely beneficial in that way.
And you see even where your business can improve. So you see parts of your process when you're teaching someone else. It's oh, wait, I could do this better. I could do this quicker. I could do this easier. What's great about having interns too, and what I think may hold people back is, oh gosh, I'm going to have to teach someone new every single semester. So every 3 or 4 months, I've got to start all over again from scratch with a new person. And there is some of that there, but what's great about just getting organized in your business is being able to get those systems down pat and then being able to just pass them down from intern to intern. So it's doing a lot of work one time and then just kind of perfecting it as you go along.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you don't have systems on paper at all, how I did when I first started.
That's how we were.
It forces you to do it.
You get them on paper and quick. And it's really amazing to start getting that stuff out of your head and onto paper. I did want to ask you guys, so how do you know when you're ready for an intern in the first place?
I think any small business is technically ready for an intern. I think for me, I worked alone for the first year and a half of my business after I went full-time by myself. And honestly, it's not even about just the workload, just having another person there, another creative mind around you, that helps a lot too. But I think any business, you're ready to delegate at any point. And that way, that's where you see growth, when you're able to hand off the things that happen the everyday task that can kind of run you into the ground if you're doing them over and over again. You also run the risk of burnout by doing that. If you're able to hand those things off, and then you're, as a business owner, you're able to explore the growth that's waiting for you. I think you're ready at any point to get started.
Yeah, and funny enough, I was actually myself only a year out of college when I got my first intern. So, and really for us, you know, a lot of internships require, you know, the 10 to 15 hours a week. And I know our situation is unique because we share our interns, so we split those hours. But yeah, I mean, if you have about 10 hours of work a week.
And you do. Everybody does.
And you really do. And that's just another part of kind of getting organized and getting in your business, seeing what you could hand off. But, you know, just having someone come in and help you gather inspiration, help critique your ideas, or just bounce ideas off of, like, you can do that for 10 hours a week. And
honestly, even if your task that you're handing off only take 5 to 7 hours a week and you have that additional hours to fill, I take interns with me to client meetings so they can observe. I let them sit at my desk and watch me work so they can observe. So even if it's not technically a task, if teaching by observing, I think that, you know, can definitely fill up the additional hours that are still there, because they want to know. And, you know, I guess for us, we're doing what we do day in and day out. This is a whole new experience for them. I think what they're taking away from it, they just like being here. So you're giving an experience and not even really having to try. You're just letting them watch, which is really cool. So yeah, I think we've both learned that for sure. So
any small business.
Yeah, any small business, you're ready.
Yeah. So what about work from home entrepreneurs? Because I know you guys have a studio. And this was a hesitation I had initially. And so could you talk about that?
Yeah, so I think that actually just goes back to setting clear expectations and giving clear direction and instruction. I outsource a lot online, so while I'm not familiar with an intern that's solely working remotely, I do work with people a lot remotely. And through that, I've just discovered that is the clearer that I can get, the more specific, the more precise that I can get, the better. And that's where kind of creating systems and processes comes into play. And we do work remotely with the girls that come in. Like last summer, we didn't have a studio, so we were all working from home. We'd meet at coffee shops, we'd work remotely, and that just boiled down to us giving very clear direction and instruction on the days that we were with them, and then just, you know, picking a person that we trusted to handle it all when they were on their own, and being kind of self-productive, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I think, again, it really does boil down to setting those expectations and saying, like, this is my work environment, but it doesn't mean that it's not professional. It is. I think a kitchen table is just as professional as a studio space like we have now, but this isn't where we always were. We were both working out of our homes at one point, and like Emily said, this summer we were in a transition between 2 different studio spaces, and our intern this summer actually was able to come to my house at least one day a week, and during the summer she organized my closet space for me with all of my office supplies, which would have taken me forever, but that was needed for my business, and she was able to knock it out quickly. That was one of her strong suits. Organization is not my strong suit, but it was hers. And it helped. It was huge. And she, again, that was an experience for her, that she didn't look at that as not a non-internship task. That was a learning experience for her too. And that was real life for entrepreneurs. Right. If we have to change studio locations, that happens in the life of a business. So
yeah, it's a beautiful picture into what this entire world is all
about. We told her that.
So. Well, yeah, but really that goes back to, you know, this is why they're interning with us as small business owners, is to get a glimpse into what all of this is all about. Yeah, and as long as you are providing that education and that experience for them, then it's totally worth it. They can learn just as much sitting at their kitchen table or sitting in their bed or wherever they are. And, you know, a good place to find remote workers is, you know, of course you can connect with the colleges and on social media, and then in places like Facebook groups. You know, I'm a part of of several Facebook groups like Rising Tide, Being Boss, things like that. And that way you can, your field of where you can find interns gets super, super broad. So it's actually a pretty cool idea to have a remote intern.
Okay, so I know you guys are super experts at it at this point. I mean, you freaking made the course Interns 101. Got an intern, or you're first considering, like, how are you feeling, and then what ultimately made you get an intern?
You want to go?
Yeah, I guess for us, like I said, we moved into that new studio space 2 years ago, and we had so many tasks that we were just doing every single day, and I think we got to the point where we thought, I'd heard of other people getting interns, and I guess the term free, we don't like to toss that around, but we were not paying, you didn't have to pay for the intern because it was a trade-off. You're teaching in exchange for those extra helping hands, and we're like, we should try that. And I think for us, that first summer doing it, it was a hit. We found out, like, we were learning more about our businesses that way, and it kind of, it really wasn't a question after that. Like, we were like, okay, well, let's find our next intern for the next semester, because we almost, like, it was like we would panic if we didn't have an intern set for the next semester, because we had already learned with our businesses, like, there are certain tasks that we have to delegate that we could not take on anymore based on our growth and what we were trying to do with our business.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's simple things like running to the printer. Okay, so running to the printer takes 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes even longer depending on the traffic. But what that does for us is it's pulling us completely away from our desk, and while it may just be an hour, we are getting completely out of the flow of what we were working on, and it completely kills the morning or the afternoon. So something that's an hour, where we're most valuable is sitting at our desk doing, the work that we're getting paid to do, designing and running this business. So it was stuff like that where we were like, we could use an extra set of hands for just this busy work that we are taking on and doing ourselves.
But we didn't realize, I don't think we realized before we got an intern, like, taking that time to drive to the printer to pick up things, or taking things to FedEx to ship, just those everyday tasks, again, that you have to do as an entrepreneur. You're running a business, those things have to be done. Getting back in the zone when you get back to your desk, for me, it takes me like 30 minutes to an hour just to get back in design mode. And losing that much time time is money. And I think we really didn't realize what we were losing until we had someone come in and we're like, wow, this is a game changer for us. Like, we really don't have to get out of design mode and take our headphones off and go to the printer. And we're not having to like get ourselves back in gear once we get back from the printer. But for us, we were having to make those errands every day, and now we don't have to.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, like, some people might be like, I feel guilty for just sending this girl to the printer, 3 times a week or whatever. But
we had to do it.
Yeah, we had to do it. And for them, that's a process that they're going to have to learn eventually. Like, they're going to have to learn, how do you submit files? How do you pick it up? Like, how does this whole entire process work? So even runs to the printer is experience and education for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they get college credit for it.
Exactly.
Like, that's a win for them. I mean, if I was in that position, I'd be like, this is awesome.
Right. And you can wear
myself up a coffee on the way.
Exactly. And you can wear your yoga pants. Yeah, that's totally acceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I do want to talk about how you find your interns, but before we get there, you were talking about kind of like getting in flow and having that interrupted, and how the small tasks in your business can do that. And I totally get that. I struggle with that a lot. So when you bring on an intern, how do you make sure that that's not like a heightened level of interrupted tasks? Like, you have the responsibility for a person, and they're probably going to need stuff from you and take some energy from you each day at some level. So how do you keep it in a way that's beneficial for you and them as far as workflow?
That is such a good question, and Jess can probably talk a good bit on this. Jessica and I are funny. we're headphones people.
Yeah.
When we work, we like to turn on music or turn on a show, turn on a podcast.
We have matching headphones.
We have
the
matching
same
white
set of
headphones.
You guys.
So we handle this a couple of different ways. The first way is our weekly task sheet, and this is a sheet that we give at the beginning of the week, and it has fire items basically, and then moving forward items. So when we are talking through those items, we give the instructions and give the details right then, even if that takes an hour. We walk through the whole thing, we explain it all, and then the moving forward projects are projects that we have going on pretty much the entire semester. And so those are basically like when you finish the fire items, hop right into a moving forward item. And that way, you don't have to ask, what can I do next? You just flow right into it. And then the second thing is just kind of setting expectations at the very beginning, whether that be the beginning of the internship or the beginning of the day or the week, basically saying like, this is how we work. This is our work environment. We have said before, okay, are you good to go? Do you have everything you need? We're about to get in headphone mode. Of course, ask us questions if you have any. That's what we're here for. But we're getting in headphone mode pretty much. So it's just setting those expectations. And two, that goes into, and we'll get into this in a second with finding your intern, but that goes into the personality of your intern. How do they work? Are they chatters? Are they quiet? And how is that going to work kind of with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we go through the interview process, we can kind of pick up on those things too. And we try to be pretty honest about our work mode. Like, we like to when it's design time, headphones go on. I mean, if I do emails or whatever, I'm not in headphone mode and I'm open for questions. If there's anything going on, like Emily said, the task for that day, we go over those tasks first to make sure they get settled and get into that project. And so usually it's pretty seamless. I mean, they go from that project into the ongoing projects for that semester. So typically the task sheet really helps a lot with that and moving seamlessly throughout the day. And it also helps us know when we come into the office that morning, we know what's on the schedule for the day, and our intern knows what's on the schedule for the day. And typically, Emily and I split up days through the week. So Emily has the intern on Mondays and Wednesdays. I have intern Tuesdays, Thursdays. And we know those set days, so I can go ahead and plan ahead for my day with the intern. But I would say, the task sheet helped me a lot because that was something I was afraid of doing, like delegating for me and teaching someone and taking that time out of my day to not just like hand off a busy task, but actually teach and make sure they're walking away with something with knowledge of what I do. I had to make sure that I'm putting that time in too. And you're right. I mean, that's definitely, you're not just getting free work. Like, you are having to make sure someone walks away with an experience and with knowledge. So.
Yeah, and we're not always in headphone mode.
No.
We a lot of times
we shop talk
yeah,
all the time.
We a lot of times have very open conversations about our businesses. And we do this, kind of intentionally. We're basically saying, like, we're going to have these conversations in front of you so that you get a very open idea of what small business is all about. Yeah. Whether it's a project that we're working on, whether it's a struggle that we're going through, either way, we do have those open conversations in front of them. And again, we consider that education and experience for them and just a clear view into the world of small business. Yeah. And Sarah, you were saying it does take energy for you to do this week after week, and it definitely does. And there are days when it's like, what, I just want to not wear any makeup and put my hair in a bun and just put on my headphones. And that's what Fridays are for. Yeah. But I will say also that that's kind of an unexpected benefit of having an intern is that means we have to be here every day at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. or whatever hour we set. And, it forces structure and it forces productivity. So I know, okay, they're going to be here at 10. I have to be there. I've had to have my coffee. I've got to get my clothes on. Like, I've got to be ready to go. Yeah.
Have that. Yep.
Yeah. So it's actually, while it does require energy, I think that's one of the unexpected benefits that have really grown our businesses is that it's requiring us to be here. It's requiring us to be on top of it. It's requiring us to, manage another person, which has actually been great.
It has. It really has. So
yeah.
Okay, so I'm coming up with extra questions along the way.
Yeah.
If you could put a dollar amount
Oh
on
gosh.
what you feel would benefit from an intern during one semester,
Sarah, I don't know. I'm not good
going to
at
hire
that.
somebody, I know it can be a little bit variable because they're doing all kinds of different tasks, but
Yeah.
do you have like any sort of like range where you feel like, because you know there is some investment, there is some commitment there. However, I totally agree with you. It makes you get your stuff together, but yeah. So like, if you break it down, like what is the dollar amount on the value of having an intern for one semester?
So are you basically asking like what it's worth to us?
Yeah.
Like financially, if you were going to hire someone to do everything that they were coming in to do over one semester, how much money would you have spent on paying somebody to do that versus having a free intern?
Actually, it's interesting that you're asking that, because what you taught us about the dollar amount of tasks, like I remember that the first time I met you and you walked through like teaching us like the different levels of work, like where you should be as the owner of the business, like creating and dreaming and moving forward with goals. So like that's the zone I should be in, and then the ones below that, it was kind of like stair step down, like there's someone that can be specialized in this area and you pay them this much, and there's someone that can be doing these like the tasks that are everyday tasks, like picking up from the printer and going to FedEx and even doing drop offs for clients, that kind of stuff. What would I be paying them? And that's intern zone for me is that level. And I mean, to put a dollar amount on it, it's kind of crazy that
I would say, like, again, and I know you might be talking a little bit more about this sheet yourself, but like that's what's so cool is that it's keeping us in the higher. Are you still there? Oh, you jumped. Okay, sorry. It's keeping us in those higher ranging areas where we have the most value, and I would say the interns are doing that $10 an hour up to the $50 an hour work.
Sure.
It kind of just depends on the intern in that semester. So we hire all different majors just based on our needs that semester. Like currently we have a marketing major, and you know we're doing a lot of marketing this semester. Like a lot of my focus is that. Other semesters we've had design interns, we've had business interns, we've had photography interns,
art interns.
So when I have girls that can do actual design work for me, I mean, you know, that's the $50 an hour tasks. When we have girls that do photo shoots for us, I mean, that's
huge.
$75 an hour tasks. So, you know, they're doing the $10 an hour work up to the $50 to $75 an hour and keeping us where we need to be in those higher ranges.
And it's not, I mean, it's definitely not perfect every day. I'd love to say that I'm no longer doing any of those tasks. I mean, honestly, I still do here and there, just if I have to. But for the most part, I think from when I met you, maybe, I guess it was a year and a half, 2 years ago, and we went through that evaluation of saying like where we are in our business, honestly, I was like in the first level through most of my day,
spending most of our time in that first level.
And I can say like from that point to now, I've gotten out of the 1 zone and I'm usually floating somewhere in like the 3 to 4 zone, like somewhere over there, which is awesome. And I think like that was really one of the things that helped us start thinking like we need an intern. Like we've got to get someone to do the level 1 stuff, like, and start passing it off. So.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, you know, in small business hop right into the idea of bringing on an assistant, you know, hiring someone even if it's 1 day a week or a couple days a week, and just kind of completely bypass this idea of having interns. And like, again, we don't like to shout free because it is an even exchange between the work that they're giving you and the experience and education that you're giving them. But at the same time, it's free. You know, you are getting essentially a part-time employee with you for free. And it's great for you and it's so great for them. Like Sarah, you said, they're getting college credit for it. So it's just it's such a great even exchange. But guys, it's free. It's free.
And we do, like, in what we've set up with the course, we do an evaluation at the end of the course and at the end of the semester, and we do let them know that up front that there will be an evaluation. They also evaluate us. So That is something that's part of the course. Most of the schools also require an evaluation of the student at the end of the semester. So there is a level of expectation that is set with that. They know they have to show up for their hours or they don't get the credit for the course. Like, there is reporting back to the school. So there is accountability there. And
each school is different too.
Yeah.
Like, there are some schools that require them to check in every single week, show the work that they're doing. We had one intern that was required to write about her experience every single week. So she was documenting, this is what I'm working on. These are the conversations that we're having. This is what I'm learning, all that fun stuff. So.
Whoa. Okay, so do you guys have an intern for 10 hours a week, or is 10 hours a week normal?
This week, I think she's between 10 and 12. So let me switch back. The way we do it is we have them Monday through Thursday, and then we leave Friday open. So usually Fridays are off, but if we have a project, like we're doing a big photo shoot or filming for the day or something like that, then we bring them in. And so it's usually 10 to 12 hours a week for us.
Okay, so you being nerdy like I
I was waiting for you to do that.
So, if we say 10 hours a week for easy calculating, if they're doing $10 an hour tasks like running errands, it'd be $100 a week. And then if they're doing a $75 an hour tasks, they're doing $750. So it's like anywhere from $100 to $750
a week, yeah.
That you are thinking. I mean, you have to put in some work, but also get the intrinsic reward of helping someone out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Great.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's exciting. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, what I want to do next is, could you guys walk me through step by step exactly how you go about finding your interns?
Yeah.
So that way, if anybody's listening, they would hopefully be able to implement finding their intern.
Yeah. Oh, so we thought, when we look for interns, when we initially got started, we're like, well, we have to have a design intern just because we're both designers. So obviously a graphic design intern, which was great, but it's not necessary for every semester. And I think as our businesses go through different phases and we look at the upcoming 3 months, however long that semester is, 3 to 4 months, and we say what do we have going on? We sit down and think about our needs for that semester. So we really, both of us, kind of brainstorm and say, what do I have coming? What do I need from an intern this semester? So that's step one. We list those out, what we're going to have, going on. What do you do next after that?
Yeah, so we start the search in a couple of different places. Colleges, first of all, emailing the specific either professors or department heads in the areas that we're looking for. And then we always go to social media. So Jessica and I, we have we have strong business presences on social media. And so we usually post on Instagram, post on Facebook. I also have a form on my website that's up all the time that's basically gives a little bit of an overview of the internship. So, and that's up all year round. And so we have people email us often like, hey, I can't do this summer, but I could do fall, could we interview, that kind of thing. So connecting with the colleges and then posting on social media is first.
Yeah, and I guess and the thing with the needs and then we also walk through the wants, what we're looking for as far as work mode, how they work, really even personality. We go through those things first just because there's some semesters we may need a marketing intern more than we need a design intern, like Emily was talking about earlier. So I think it is important to evaluate that first before you go into actual searching. So we do walk through that with the course. I think that's probably the most important step before you start actually finding. And then going through social media for us has honestly been the best way to find interns. I think when we post on Instagram, we get the most return. So we walk through that in the course too, as far as we even give scripts on how to post. what has gotten a good feedback for us. You will probably get people that want to work remotely. That's up to you. We get that almost every semester. We have people that don't live here that are offering to do an internship remotely. We need people in-house, but, again, like, that's an awesome option for you, especially if there's no local colleges in your area. But we also include, scripts for professors to email professors, so you can say, like, this is what I need. We've already typed that out for you in the course. You can copy and paste it into an email. We've made it as easy as possible, and we've used the scripts that we've used in the past that have worked.
Yeah, and there are lots of different ways to find interns. So let's say, you start this whole thing and you're hearing crickets. You're not getting any responses. There's always other ways to look. So, connecting with colleges, you're going to get directly in, with the departments and everything that you're interested in. So let's say you don't hear anything back from a professor. We have included in the course a flyer that we've pre-designed. All you have to do is pop in your information. You can print that out, take it to the local colleges yourself, and post it on their boards. They have boards in the common areas. I know when I was in school, outside of our classrooms where we ate, all that, there's boards. You can go post that on those boards. Social media is a great place to look. Facebook groups, like I mentioned earlier, are a great place to look. So there's so many different options. So if you try, option A and it's not working, there's option B, C, D. So you definitely got choices. So once we put all the feelers out there and we get the emails back, we usually set up either a week or a day, and we knock out all the interviews at once. So, and we've had Skype interviews before. If someone can't meet remotely, let's say, they're in school 2 hours away, but are coming home for the summer. A lot of them, we'll just talk over Skype, and or we meet them at the local coffee shops. And where the interviews are concerned, we totally get that it can be, intimidating. It can make you nervous. Of course, they're going to be nervous. These sweet girls, they'll walk in and they'll be so nervous and they'll be like, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. And we're like, no.
I don't know how to react when you say ma'am.
Right. Like, we promise we're so much more relaxed than that. But we include, in the course, specific questions to ask, so you're not sitting there like, what should I know about you? What should I ask? We've got all that there.
And guys, that has come from trial and error, because our first, I think it was the first time we posted on social media, and we got a huge pool of people that wanted to interview, and we had an interview day. And I mean, there's probably some questions we could have asked better, but we have, over those semesters of doing that interview process, we kind of refined those questions for you.
And we figured out the questions that need to be asked to get those trigger answers, to answer the questions to this is what you need and this is what you want. And so all that's in there. Yeah. It's really great.
Love it.
Does that answer your question?
Mostly, I kind of want to take it just a little bit further if you guys are cool with that. So one thing I wanted to say is emailing the department heads directly was something that when I took the course, I was like, oh my God, why have I never thought of that? That's so brilliant. Because I had just been posting on the public you can do job posting site where you can put internships, and it's just not as effective, I don't think. And so I was like, oh man, go straight to the source. So I love that tip. That alone, I think, will change everything for me, not to mention everything else that's inside the course. But so when you're finding your intern, when you email a professor in general, what do you say? And then if you do a social media post, I'd love to link to one of your posts below. What do you say in your posts?
Yeah.
Those couple.
Yeah. So for the colleges, we basically, the majority of that script is directly in the course. You can copy and paste it. But we basically just want to give the professors a glimpse into what our businesses are all about and the tasks that we're going to need the intern to do and what they're going to be learning. So all those things are just kind of the key points that are super important. And we want to let the professors know, we have legit businesses. This is not, they're going to be getting legit experience and education in return for that credit. So those specific things, just kind of the keywords to your business and to what they'll be learning are very important in those emails, I think.
Yeah, and I think even as far as, talking to the professors, I think what we found too, the professors know the students in that group, and it's kind of, they know who to send to us, like who would best benefit from an internship with creative entrepreneurs. Because you can go to the design department and not every graphic designer is wanting to go into that line of work. But the ones that are, the professor is the best person to find that specific intern for you, that specific student. So that has been really helpful when we do reach out to the colleges, when we get interns from the professors, and also just building a relationship with professors. They get to know your business, and actually sometimes they'll jump the gun, and before we send anything for the next semester, they'll say, whenever you're ready, to start looking for your next intern, I've got someone for you. So that helps too. I know Birmingham, we have 3 local colleges. All 3 of them have art or design programs, or both. So that's been great for us.
Yeah, and like Jessica said, it's great to just build those relationships because I've had experiences come from just connecting with them. Like last year, I had connected with some local colleges, and then one of the department heads reached out to me to do a design critique for basically all of the local colleges. So I was able to, meet directly with students and critique their work, and also get, I think 5 people that day that were interested in interning. Yeah. So it's just great to really build those relationships from the start.
Yeah, and honestly, we started with an intern from one local college one semester. She told her friends that were in the same major how awesome the internship was, and sent us the next intern. It was a friend of hers that was also in the same program. And then she sent us the next intern, like all 3 of them. It was kind of like back to back because they loved their experience with us so much. They were passing it on to their friends, which we thought was really cool. And
it was so great.
And all
they
3 of
were
them
so
were
great.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
They were on it. So.
And I just want to make this point too, because one of those interns was with us for a summer, and she actually did not receive college credit for it, but she wanted to be with us anyways, simply for the experience, based on her friend's critique. But I just want to make that point, just to say that is a possibility, and that's an option. And we've had actually a handful. We had a girl with us last semester that was with us every single day for an entire semester, all day. And she did not receive any course credit, but she wanted it for the experience, and she knew that it was going to look good on her resume. So again, while this exchange of course credit is amazing, you might have people apply that just want it simply for the experience, just to be in the environment. Yeah. And that's totally an option too. If it works for you and if it works for the intern, it's totally an option.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so the find your intern, you figure out what you need. And then in the search, you reach out to a college department head and do some social posts. So basically, if you want to do all this and make it super easy, you can just get their course, which is Interns 101. And so in this, it's like they give you all the scripts, and it's like so, like, I was emailing Emily about it, and I was like, this is the easy button. It's just like literally, like, I was kind of worked up about thinking about hiring an intern this summer, and I'm actually going to do a virtual intern, and I'm really excited. I've never done that before. Excuse me, get a little working it out. Okay, so, but anyways, their course is amazing. I highly, highly encourage you guys to check it out. But can you guys tell us a little bit more about what's in the course?
Yeah, so basically we have 3 modules. We've talked about the first module, which is finding your intern, and that goes through a lot of what we just talked about. The second module is all about hiring. So we've got those interview questions for you, a post-interview debrief. We've got email scripts for ways to say yes and ways to say no. So when you say yes to the person that you're choosing, there's a couple things that you need to get from them right off the bat, and a couple things that you need to let them in on, such as the evaluations, the contract that they need to sign, all of that. And then ways to say no. So we want to take all the awkwardness out of that for you. We've got 3 alternate endings. If someone, if you liked someone but they need a little bit more experience, if someone just wasn't a good fit at all, if someone has too much experience, which we've encountered that too. So we've got complete ways to say no, and then we have a handbook which just covers the basics, and then a contract example that they can sign.
Yeah, and so the third module is managing. Also, with each module in the course, we've included videos that go with each one that walk you through that section. So you get to see us, and that's fun. But the third module is managing, and that's really all about structuring your day. What we were talking about earlier, like getting the task sheet ready every day, knowing what to look forward to, knowing what's on the schedule. And we go through from day one when your intern comes in that morning or whenever it is that day, and we talk about what we do on that first day. I know it's kind of, for them, like coming into a new studio space or a new workspace and getting to know new processes can be a little bit intimidating. So we talk about making that as easy as possible. And then talking about, showing your processes to your intern to get them started. So really that beginning phase, and then going into the task sheet, how that works, structuring the day. And then we also talk about the evaluation, which I talked about a little bit earlier, but the evaluation is for you and the intern. They're filling one out for you as well. And on the last day of the internship, we spend that morning going over the evaluations together, and we try to make that as comfortable as possible. Again, we cover this in the course, but we think that's really important. That's probably one of the biggest takeaways for the intern after the semester is over, because they get to carry that forward with their real life work experience after college. So I think it's a way for them to refine their skills, know what their strengths are, and maybe the things they need to work on. And then we in turn we get feedback from them too, and what we can do better for our next semester with an intern. So that's super helpful. And then we also walk through, in the same section, we walk through our last day with the intern, what we do. We usually take them to lunch. We talk about really making sure that relationship, that we keep in touch with them, that we keep a good relationship with them. That's always really important to us. And honestly, our interns, they stop by the studio a good bit, say hey. We're still in touch with most of them, especially the ones that are still in school here in Birmingham, and we still do work with them. I know several of them are photographers. We can call them if we need like a quick something shot. So we like to keep those relationships going. But
yeah, and then we just added a bonus to the course, which is a private Facebook group for everyone that is taking the course. And then, of course, Jessica and I are in there. So this is great. You have direct access to us to ask any questions as you're going through this process. So if you're getting stuck anywhere, we're there to help answer those questions. And two, it's great because you can share your experience with the other people that are taking this course. So let's say you're mid-internship and you have a question like, okay, this just came up. I don't really know how to handle it. You've got the group and you've got us to help answer that. And then, after the internship, anywhere in the process, you've got that group of people to kind of go back to, and all of you can share your collective experiences. And then, of course, we're there as well to offer any advice that we can give, as well as share our experience as well.
Yeah, it's like an insane value. It's like, I got it there. I mean, even before I was in the course, I was like, okay, this is like such a no-brainer, because literally if you have an intern for 1 week, it already pays for itself.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
wild.
that's definitely something too, like, that we like to emphasize, is that this is not just a course that you take once. Right. You can use this year after year after year. These downloads, you can download them 1,000 times. Like, you can do this year after year after year. So for the price, like we said, you're getting essentially a part-time employee for free.
For free.
For as long as you want, for the longevity of your business, if you would like.
Yeah. So was the course 127?
127, yes.
127. So, however, I'm going to put a link below, SD exclusive. So if you use that link, you're going to get it for $95.25.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So it's just like such a good deal. So if you use that link as well, earlier when we were talking about like business, making sure you're staying in the higher paying tasks, I'm also going to include like a CEO mindset, PDF and then like a video that explains how to walk through that strategy and how to make sure you're outsourcing the right things, as well as staying in the most profitable area of your business. So, and so that's even adding extra value. So you get the 25% off. You'll get the strategy sheet that I'll send you, all of the course materials, the Facebook group. This is insane.
Good. Bonus from Sarah to Shaw.
If you want to sign up, you have to do it before the 21st of this month, which is next Tuesday. So you've got under a week to decide. And then I think they may open up again in the fall. So if you're wanting to have a summer intern, now is the time.
Yeah, now is definitely the time. And we released this course intentionally at this time because this is when a lot of college students are looking for their internships. So we encourage you, buy this course now and then spend the next month really diving in to your search. So yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. So thank you so much for sharing everything about how to find your intern. I hope that all of you have gotten lots of tips and tricks on how to find your intern. And if you want to just make the whole entire process so easy, you should definitely get the course. But definitely tell my people where they can find you.
Yeah, so, okay, the entire course is on interns101.com, and we have a webinar that we did a couple weeks ago. You can watch the full webinar, which talks more about the course and everything on Interns 101. It's got all the details, a place where you can pop in any questions you have. And then to find me personally, you can find me at emilywellsdesign.com or on Instagram at emilywellsdesign.
Yeah, and for me, same, all that interns and interns101.com. Definitely go watch the video because we had so much fun with the webinar.
We had a blast.
Yeah, and it really, it's pretty informative about the course. So check that out for sure. And we also had people ask some questions during the course. So there were some good questions that were answered there. So check that out. And you can find me at empressstationery.com. And my Instagram handle is at empressstationery.
Yay.
Well, I'll put links to all of that below, and then I'll put the discount code below, and anything you need will be below the video.
Yes.
But thank you so much for joining me today. Are there any last tips or tricks that you want to make sure people know about?
I think we've covered a lot, but definitely, if you hop in on Sarah's discount code, you will get that 25% off, and then her bonus is amazing. We talked about it a good bit here when we first met Sarah. She gave us this bonus that she's including, and it really, it's extremely transformative, and it keeps you in the upper levels of your business. So her discount code is great, but her bonus is excellent. So valuable. So thank you, Sarah.
All right, well, hope you guys have an amazing day.
You too.
You too.
Okay.
Bye.